Happy Friday. Mayor Dan Pope with a weekly update. Okay, today's focus is on the 2020-2021 budget. Earlier this week, our council approved this budget on first reading unanimously. Requires a second vote next week. I want to go over the highlights of this, and I think you'll realize quickly that this budget supports what's been important to me and what's been important to our council since we began serving. First and foremost, that's fiscal discipline. You know, we've tried to make common sense decisions, learn to say no, not swipe the credit card, pay as you go, those things. You've heard me talk about that. I'll talk more about that in a minute. It also supports public safety. Public safety remains job one. This budget supports our neighborhoods. This budget supports quality of life. And all those things allow Lubbock to be attractive to companies that want to invest here, that create jobs that mean careers for our workers, for families. So let's take a deeper dive. Let's go look at the money piece to start with. Fiscal discipline. We're cutting the tax rate 1.61 cents. That's about 3%. That means that for the average home, your property taxes will not go up. Now, based on your appraisal, yours could go down a little bit or they could go up a little bit, but on the average home, they will not increase. Overall, our general fund budget, which is roughly a $250 million budget, will increase by $600,000. So it's increasing by 0.3%. Now that increase is driven by new growth. That's good because that new property that's coming on the tax rolls is important as we need to take care of those properties. We provide them services. Of that growth, of that $600,000 in growth, 90% of that growth is going to public safety. Let me be real clear. We are not defunding police. There's not been any conversation about that. The Lubbock City Council stands firmly behind Lubbock Police Department, behind Lubbock Fire and Rescue, and behind our emergency management operations. We hear from you how important they are to you. We continue to support them. We expect them to change with the times, but they are very important to all of us. We'll continue to support the pay-as-we-go strategies. We'll do 60 capital projects this year. 95% of those projects are funded in cash. We'll buy 61 vehicles. 92% of those are funded in cash. We'll pay down $108 million in debt with this year's budget. So we're starting to see the benefits of not issuing new debt and starting to reduce our overall debt load. Fees, your general fees will not go up. Water rates are not going up. Wastewater is not going up. Stormwater is not going up. In fact, it went down last year, as you recall. That's the second year in a row we can say that. So I think that's running our business the right way. There are some tight points in this budget. There are no salary increases for our employees. And even though there's about 2,400 people that work for the city, we'll only create 3 net new positions next year. So it's pretty much the status quo. That means we're going to have to find ways to continue to serve a growing city. Our neighborhoods are being supported with this budget. When we've approved the Lubbock 2040 plan at the end of 2018, we promised in that plan that we would invest in neighborhoods. We're hiring through this budget a neighborhood liaison that will work in the planning department. We're also funding that person to begin planning at the neighborhood level. A city is only as strong as its neighborhoods. We've committed that this effort will start in northern and eastern Lubbock and some of our older neighborhoods where they need help immediately. We'll also commit in this budget $10 million in cash to street maintenance again this year. Now you're used to hearing that. That's not the way we've always done our business. We'll also do nearly $1 million in paving dirt streets, roads that have never been paved before. So we're staying the course on that effort. Quality of life. we've made some quality of life investments. Maybe the one that stands out the most is we'll update our parks master plan. For us to get grant dollars for our park system, we need to update our master plan. It's not been done in over a decade. We'll get that updated, and that'll help us explain and understand the future. Once again, that parks master plan was called out in the Lubbock 2040 plan. We're implementing what we promised to do. So I think the budget is responsible. I think it pays the proper homage to the difficult times that we're in, families and businesses that are hurting, but it also finds a way to make certain that we don't strangle our growth, that we don't strangle the progress that we have as a community. Remember, it's critical that as people are moving out of big cities and looking for places like Lubbock, where we're socially distanced by nature, we've got to make sure that we hold our hand up and explain why and make sure people understand how good our quality of life is in our community. We'll probably go into more budget details later in the fall, but I felt like you probably wanted to hear about that in an update. Final thing, our campaign will start to take form next week. You'll see signs going up. You'll have information from us about where you can pick up yard signs next week. We are ready to get this campaign going, shooting towards November 3rd. Hope you have a great Labor Day. I appreciate your good ideas, your words of support, and your prayers. I'll talk to you next week.